What do you think of modern education? Not much. Um, I wanted to leave school when I was in grade 11, when I was, what, 16 years old. I mean, my parents did something really neat, and that's took me out of school. Um, when I was in kindergarten, when I finished kindergarten and was going into grade 1, I don't know how old that is, 6, 7, so 5, 6, 6. They decided they were going to take me and my older brother out of school. And we spent I spent grade 1 to 8 at home. And it was pure torture. I mean, it was really good, actually. We learned a lot, and we were free. Like, we didn't do anything. Every day we had to do some math and some reading, and our parents would buy us all sorts of used books. They'd go to the used bookstores and just buy boxes of used books. So we got to read a lot. But as a result, we learned so much, and our minds became sharp, and all 4 of us have gone on to do good things. And I think that's an important answer to your question, is it shows part of the uselessness that I'm going to come to, because that's really my conclusion, is that, and it goes back to your Thoreau quote, is that modern education is really not nearly as useful as people think. The most useful thing that modern education brings is socialization, and as a result, I'm a social reject. You see, I wear rags, for crying out loud. I live in the forest and can't get along in society, and this isn't really what happens, because my brothers are fine in society, but there is a certain element of socialization which you could call brainwashing even. It's kind of sad how it affects certain people, and it leads us to buy into so much that we would otherwise be free from. But it doesn't really teach you anything. I can verify that, because I spent the first eight grades learning on my own, basically. Our parents bought us a computer. We had a computer when I was 6, and they had all this neat software, and so we learned a lot of stuff from the computer. And just by reading, we would read more than anyone. Kids don't like to read, right? Nowadays, no one likes to read because they weren't brought up like that. We were brought up reading, so we read so much, and that's an incredible way of becoming educated. It's just taking the example of great writers. So, but the great point is that you don't get a lot from school. I certainly didn't, and it became more and more pronounced. In grade 11, I just suddenly, without even any kind of view, it just suddenly hit me that I don't want to be in school. And it probably tied into the whole idea that I had, that that many people have, that, well, what is school for? And maybe I read it somewhere, because it just seemed like it was a trap. You go to school to get educated, and the education is only for the purposes of getting a job. And what are you getting a job for? To make money. And you spend all this time making money, and then you have to get a house and a car and whatever, a family. And by the time you have money and you have status and so on, you're too old to enjoy it, and then it's time to get old. No, and the point being that the happiness only is supposed to come when you retire, and by the time you retire, you're too old to enjoy it anyway, and you're just starting to worry about sickness, old age, and death. And that was really what was going through my mind at the time. That, and I think I read the Tao Te Ching around that time, and became a Taoist, and wanted to go to meet the Dalai Lama and become a monk. So that's sort of an answer as to what I think of education, is basically that it's useless, and it's just for the purposes of perpetuating uselessness. And that's a hard thing for people to swallow, because it's so much a part of, becomes so much a part of reality for us, right? School is what kids do. Everyone goes to school. You not go to school? School is useless? Well, do monkeys go to school? What other animal goes to school? And what do we get out of school? We get society, we get economics, we get iPads, iPods, iPhones, we get no? A lot of Yeah. And look at what our education has brought us. The sky is polluted, the water is polluted, the trees are gone, the world's heating up. Hasn't brought us a lot of good. I'm not saying things like learning and wisdom are not good, but they can be gained in such better ways. I mean, being a monk, that's one of the greatest things about being a monk. See, what happened is I went to university thinking, well, maybe university will be different. Spent half a year and did a lot of stupid things, got involved with, did some drugs and had like 4 different women I was interested in, and got on all these committees and became involved. So many, just went everywhere. And realized that it wasn't any different. There was, no matter what I did and which way I went, it was all meaningless. And so I vowed to myself that I'm going to find a way to learn without university. Because university wasn't learning for me, and I actually made a big fuss about it before I left. I got all our fellow students in our program together. It was a special program for people who want to learn. You needed like a 92 average to get into the program. And you had to have all these extracurriculars and so on. So I thought, wow, this is, to get into this program is a good one. And so I made a big fuss when I left. I got everyone together and we started talking about what was wrong with the program and how there wasn't real learning. It was just rehashing old stuff. Whatever. And so anyway, I dropped out with the point is I dropped out with the idea of doing some real learning. And so the point I want to make is that I found that now. Being a monk is the ideal, in every sense of the word, the ideal opportunity to learn. Maniratana is going to university and is able to learn everything about what is proper to learn. I mean, the Buddha's teaching itself is a profound body, a vast body of knowledge. So simply learning the truth and learning good things and learning about what is right and what is wrong and learning profound philosophy, I have the ideal opportunity to do that here. But of course there's a deeper meaning to that, is that now I have the opportunity to do the real learning. I've learned what it is that is necessary to learn, and that of course is learning about oneself. You could extrapolate on that and say there's so many incredible things that you can learn. I mean, what other school gives you the opportunity to learn how to fly through the air, read people's minds, see heaven, see hell, remember your past lives? What university has a curriculum, textbooks designed to teach people how to remember their past lives? We have that. If you want to remember your past lives, we've got a course for you. I don't teach it, but I teach a different subject. Because if you want to be free from greed, anger, and delusion, and have none of these left, to have no greed, no anger, and delusion in your mind ever, and no possibility of it ever to come back, we've got a course for that. We've got curriculum, and we've got textbooks, and we've got teachers. School of Xavier teaches that. I don't know what that is, but sorry? No. Oh dear.